Have you ever wondered about that mysterious three-digit number that seems to control your financial life? That's right, I'm talking about your credit score. Where did it even come from? It feels like it's been around forever. But its history is actually more recent and fascinating than you might think. Let's rewind the clock and uncover the story of the credit score. Our story begins in the 19th century. Picture this: small towns, local shopkeepers, and a world without credit cards. Back then, if you needed to buy something on credit, you'd go to the local merchant. Your credit worthiness was based on your reputation. The shopkeeper knew you, your family, your job, and whether you were a person of your word. It was all about personal relationships and trust. Lenders kept handwritten ledgers, noting who paid on time and who was a bit slow. This was the original, very personal credit reporting system. As America grew and people started moving from small towns to big cities, this system began to break down. You can just walk into a store in a new city and expect the owner to know you. This created a problem for both lenders and borrowers. Lenders needed a way to gauge the risk of giving credit to strangers, and honest people needed a way to prove they were reliable. This need gave rise to the first credit reporting agencies. In the late 1800s, companies like the Retail Credit Company, which would later become Equifax, started popping up. These early agencies were more like private investigators than the data companies we know today. They would send agents called inspectors to interview your neighbors, your boss, and even your friends. They'd ask all sorts of personal questions. Do they pay their bills? What's their character like? What's their marital status? Do they drink too much? The reports they compiled were incredibly detailed and, frankly, super invasive by today's standards. They contained gossip, rumors, and subjective opinions about a person's lifestyle, politics, and social standing. It wasn't just about finance, it was a full-on character assessment for decades. This was the norm if you were denied credit. You often had no idea why. You couldn't see your own credit report. And there was no way to correct any errors or challenge unfair information. Imagine being denied a loan because your neighbor told an inspector they didn't like your new haircut. It sounds crazy, but this lack of transparency and fairness was a real problem for millions of people. This system was not only subjective, but also rife with bias, often discriminating against women, minorities, and people from certain neighborhoods. The tide began to turn in the mid-20th century. With the post-war economic boom, consumer credit exploded. More people were buying cars, appliances, and homes on credit. The old investigative method of credit